Hello there, welcome to Talking Balearics with me, Martin Makepeace, here in a very warm Ibiza.
Me, Richie Pryor, in a very warm and sunny Mallorca, Mark. Summer's here.
It's summer, mate, isn't it? Yeah, how are you, Richie?
Yeah. I'm all right, mate. Yeah.
How goes it, mate? Are you up to your neck in it already, or what's happening
I had
over there?
the 36-hour radiothon at the weekend, Mark. So
I haven't forgotten about it. I just haven't pledged my money just yet, but I promise I will this week.
Well, yeah, come on, get your wallet out, you tight ass. Come on.
You know I will, mate. Yeah, how was it, bud? Was it good?
Yeah, it was fun, actually. Yeah, really, really good. I think, well, listen, we raised more than we did this time last year, but we're still, obviously, we have to then, we get the pledges, then we got to get the money.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
That's the difficult bit, isn't it?
Yeah. So the auction's still going and the raffle's still going. So probably by next week we'll have a final total, I think.
And what are you looking for, Rich? Hopefully.
Well, I'm hoping around about somewhere between 15 and 20, I think. So
that'd be very good, wouldn't it? Yes. Good. Are you fully recovered, feeling fresh after a big weekend? Or
36 hours without any sleep. It's not great, Mark. I'll be perfectly honest, particularly at our age.
Yeah, I know, mate. You're a lot older than me, though, Rich, aren't you? So it's
when I was 25, it wasn't a problem, but you know what I mean. At nearly 60, it's a little bit more difficult. If the truth be known. Anyway, we're still here.
Good to see you, mate. And well, congratulations on behalf of Talking Balearics podcast. Obviously, we're here to talk about the beautiful Balearic Islands. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Richie, what do you have for me this week?
Tourism protest.
Oh, hello. Here we go.
They're back. They're back.
Is it that time of year again?
It's like the return of the Jedi. But anyway, they'd be most of them would be happy in Mos Eisley, to be perfectly honest, in that bar.
They belong in that Star Wars bar, don't they? God.
They do. Anyway, no offence.
Please, lots of offence from me, please, yeah.
When's the best time to book a holiday? I've noticed something on TikTok, actually, which is unusual for me. I've also got Mallorca Live. It's happening this coming weekend, so we need to talk about that.
Yep.
And a little bit around Mallorca news, as always, Mark.
Well, I was about to say, I bet we're going to have an episode without football, but even though I'm getting excited for the World Cup, it's my first day of getting excited, actually. I've just ordered some England tops as well, Rich. So,
have you?
God, do you want to see the price of them? Do you?
I can. Yes, I have heard they're not great.
Listen, it's not like the old days, 25 quid, Rich. Trust me, it's a bit more.
And also, it's a shame that Reebok don't make them anymore, Mark, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But they never did. But there's always hope, Rich, isn't there? There's always hope. I've got a few things today, Rich. I've got you've gone to the tourismophobia. I've gone to the ecotax. Something that me and you love to talk about, don't we? So also I've got a little bit of an interesting story about co-living for seasonal workers, that age-old problem about housing crisis and problems. So there's a neat solution come about, which I think we should talk about. Also, I've got a little bit of an update. Chris Rowe, a friend of ours who listens to us every week, sent me a little link today, which we'll talk about. Basically, Spain is on the up, mate. Really is. It's booming, but it does throw up a few questions. And lastly, you'll talk about Real Mallorca. I'm going to talk about something that was spotted in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Sicily.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Which is interesting as well. So I'll touch on that later. But first of all, Rich.
Well, listen, the tourism protest that happened. Well, the last one happened in June last year. I don't know if you can remember, the police said there was about 8,000. The people that were doing it said there was 30,000. So who do you believe? I'll probably go with the police, probably. But anyway, there was probably a bit of they say a protest fatigue was the message that was out there. People just fed up with protesting, basically. So basically, they've come back and they said on July the 26th, which is a Sunday, they're going to try and bring Palma to a standstill. Their words.
Okay.
This is the Menes Turismo Mes Vida, which is basically less tourism, more life, they're saying.
Okay.
So they're saying that they're obviously not in agreement with the policies that the government have handed out. They're saying they're not reducing tourism. They point to the fact that Palma Airport is still being made bigger, of course.
Yeah.
And also they didn't increase the tourist tax, which I think obviously you might be coming on to, and also the vehicle situation as well hasn't been tackled yet. So they're saying that all the stuff that the government have said they are going to do really hasn't come to pass, and so they're going to go out and protest again, which
Yeah, I mean,
waste of time.
Well, you can set your watch by it, can't you? Really, but I mean, I like that Menos Turismo Mas Vida. I like that. I mean,
No, you got to work for a living. You know.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's the
what
idea.
else have they got? What do they want to do then?
What they're doing in the winter.
Yeah, I
Do
mean,
you know what I mean?
what they're doing in from November, December, January, February, those 4 months where there's not, when there's nobody in the streets. I mean, what are they doing then? Just out of interest.
No, listen, Martin. I think we've been fair in this. We've already said yes, sustainability. There
Yeah.
needs to be something to be done. We agree. What needs to be done is another question, and when it needs to be done is also another question. But the fact that they're just sort of protesting for the fact they want more life. I mean,
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a catch-all, mate, isn't it? I mean, if you've got specifics, what I'd like them to do, Rich, is come up with a master plan, okay, which doesn't impact on our lives. So we don't want to be poorer, do we? Because no one will want to be poorer, not out of choice, but also makes things better and easier on the islands. And when they do that, when they come up with those, it's a bit like the politicians when they start screaming about things, but they don't come up with any options. They don't come up with any solutions. So, it's all right going with a placard on the street when you've got blue hair, but at the end of the day, come on and give us some, give us some solutions there, Rich.
Put them into a slight area there, Mark. But anyway, I won't say anything.
Sustainability is what they're after, Rich. And there's a topic that we talk about often, isn't it, about sustainability, which is, of course, the ecotax. Now, if you don't know what the ecotax is, just a brief outline. Anybody who stays in registered tourist accommodation will pay a fee every night. It ranges, I think, from €1 to €5, if I'm not mistaken. So if you stay in a small hostel, you'll probably pay €1 a night. If you stay in a 5-star hotel, you'll pay €5 a night. What me and Richie have always screamed about is that there's not very much transparency there, Rich, is there? And they're always a little bit quiet, and they seem to announce things in a big fanfare, and then they go quiet again. Now, this week it's in the news, Rich. And this is going to get you going, I think, Rich, to be honest.
Well,
€139 million of new ecotax funded projects have been announced by the Balearic government. Okay. Which is good, yeah.
Any actually been passed yet?
well, no, but the funny thing is, or not so funny thing is, that 37 million of that money, okay, includes projects that have been previously approved, but nothing ever happened. Okay. There you go. So we said before. So the bottom line, Rich, is the problem isn't collecting the money. Now, believe it or not, the problem is spending the money.
Okay? Yeah, it is. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It's bizarre, isn't it? It really is bizarre. Now, what the Balearic government have done, they're now threatening councils and public bodies that fail to deliver projects. So what they're saying is, if you don't deliver these projects, they're going to stop giving you money. So the projects now that have been okayed for Ibiza is a 10 million Santillana desalination plant, which is very important.
Yeah.
The sewerage and wastewater upgrades, anti-illegal tourism measures, which is that beautiful one. They're going to expand the Congress Centre in Santillana, which is a bit of a white elephant, I must say. And they're just main infrastructure improvements. So at the end of the day, Rich, it just beggars belief that we can collect it, but we can't seem to spend it. And I think the process is so convoluted that nobody seems to be able to agree on anything as well. So at the end of the day, the sound bite out of this is success shouldn't be measured by how much ecotax is collected. It should be actually measured by how much they build or spend. And at the moment, they're found wanting.
No, totally. And I think we've talked about this before, Mark. I sort of mentioned it, the fact that they collected. I mean, this is going back for quite a long time as well. This is not. You're just talking about the last year, aren't you?
This is the last tranche. I mean, I think last year we had a very similar story, didn't we?
I'm sure we're in the region of around about over six. Wait a minute. You just said how much? 139. I'm sure we're nearly at 500,000 somewhere. Not half a million, so half a billion somewhere. Yeah. That's in the coffers that hasn't actually been spent or if it has been, well, no, it hasn't been spent.
No, it hasn't been spent, Rich. No.
But basically that it goes because the projects that they've got haven't actually got the license to put forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but what they're doing is they come up with these great ideas, but they're not thought through. And as soon as they put the projects, as we know in Spain, to do anything you need a project. Okay, the project takes months and months, or sometimes even years, and it just gets lost in bureaucracy, or it just gets lost in paperwork, Rich. So, I mean, it's a real. And I think your last report was it 500 or 600 million euros just sitting there waiting to be spent. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely bizarre. Now, what I did, Rich, I did a bit of digging, and I eventually found a website which explains everything. but it wasn't top of Google. It took me about 10 minutes to find it. So they're not actually going out their way to advertise it, are they? So, I think it's a bit of an embarrassment for the Balearic government, and they really need to get on top of this issue.
I totally agree. Totally agree. Should we get onto the subject of booking holidays and when it's best to book a holiday? I saw this on TikTok, actually. This was a guy called Abs Mikhail, who's he's a TikToker anyway. And
you love a bit of TikTok these days, Richie, don't you? I mean,
well, I'm not really into TikTok, but my sons do show it to me every now and again. And if there's anything to do with sort of holidays or anything like that, they normally pass it on to me, and I do have a look. I'll be honest with you. Depending on the time of day that you book a holiday or a flight or a hotel or whatever, the cost can significantly change. The worst time to book a holiday is actually, or a flight or a hotel, is between 9 and 10 a.m. every morning.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah, that is the worst.
I've got a story about this. Go on.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
And the best time, he says, is early in the morning, anytime between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. He says, and the logic does make sense. He also highlighted that overnight, the demand obviously, of course, drops off because everybody comes off of Twitter and everything else. And consequently, prices reset to their baseline. As soon as we know, most of these prices are done on algorithms, and when people start getting busy on them, then the price just goes up and up and up. And obviously, the first thing you normally do when you wake up in the morning, or you've had a cup of tea, and then you get onto your phone, and not everybody does this, but quite a lot of people do it. Start looking at holidays or hotels or flights or whatever, and then that all of a sudden that price could be coming up to 30% more expensive.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, Rich. I've got a little bit of a story because, as you know, I'm going back for a funeral to the UK for just one day tomorrow. I was looking to book the flight back, and it came up at 130 quid one way. It was with TUI. I don't usually book with TUI, but this one's a good flight time, and it gets me back early on literally less than 24 hours later. So it was 120 quid. And I was umming and ahhing, and then I looked at it again, and it went down to 100. Then it went down to 80. Then went back up to 120. I forgot all about it. Checked the other day. I checked. It was mid-morning. It had gone down to 55 quid, Rich. So the fluctuations were incredible. I mean, I don't think TUI are really the flag bearer of algorithms and fluid pricing. I think that probably goes to Ryanair and EasyJet. But it just shows you that I could have easily booked it 129 quid a few weeks ago. But I thought, no, listen, I'll wait, because I did have a flight with Ryanair for 20 quid anyway. But this other one's better. So, you really do. And it's like what they say when you book holidays as well, Richie. If you want to come over Thursday, Friday and go back Sunday or whatever, you're paying through the nose.
More expensive, yeah.
Of course it is. However, if you want to come over on a Monday or a Tuesday and go back on a Thursday or a Friday midweek, it's probably half the price, Rich. So
yeah,
it depends if you're cash rich and time poor, or vice versa, Rich. It really is
exactly.
Also, leading on from that, Rich, there was a report on the BBC today. My friend Chris Rowe sent it to me about Spain's basically we're at record levels, Rich. Obviously, with what's happening in the Far East. It's really impacting
the Mid East, not the Far East.
Sorry, mate. You're right. Middle East. Yeah, I apologise. Middle East. What's happening there, and also Greece and Turkey look to be busy, but not as busy as Spain. So bookings are really, really on the up. Spain is going to have a record year. Now, do we say this every year, Rich? I mean, I think we probably do, don't we? There's probably a few years when it slacks off for whatever, for exterior reasons. But
that would cheer up the protesters.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Can you show that headline to the blue-haired lady with a
placard,
with a placard saying "Tourists go home, please"? Or in other words, the bottom line is, Rich, is how many years can we have a record year? Because the problem isn't booking holidays; it's capacity, isn't it? I mean, how many holidays can we actually cover? Because
we've talked about this. It's all about spreading it over the course of the 12 months, isn't it? That's what it is.
Listen, Rich, in an ideal world, I would agree with you, but everyone wants to come away in peak season, don't they? Listen, let's take our friends, for instance. Do you have any friends of yours who want to come over in January out of interest?
Not really, no.
No, I'll tell you mine. Zero want to come over in January. Do you have any of your friends who want to come over in August?
Well, actually, August is normally too hot for most people, I'll be honest with you. Because if I tell them, look, it's going to be about 40 degrees, they go, oh, no, I'm not coming. Yeah, no. Quite a lot come in September, actually, I'll be honest.
Yeah, September. But, I mean, you can see the point I'm trying to make, Rich, can't you? I mean...
Well, yeah. It's if they haven't got kids. If they've got kids, obviously, July and August. But,
I mean, but it's all right to say they need to spread it over. But people like to come when it's hot. The positive out of it all, Rich, is, that tourism remains the economic engine of Spain, doesn't it? Jobs, business growth, tax revenues, don't forget. And it supports literally hundreds or millions of families. But the negative is, of course, is we've got the housing shortage, traffic congestion, infrastructure stretched every summer. As you would know, the growing anti-tourist protests across Spain, and this just gives fuel to the fire. And you remember I spoke about before that Aena, the airport operator of Mallorca and Ibiza, and Menorca, by the way, they always celebrate and they publish like record year. Fantastic. They don't seem to care about the environment, Rich, do they? Then there doesn't seem to be a sustainable tourism caveat on their website as well. So at the end of the day, the Balearics doesn't have a tourism demand problem. It has a capacity problem. And how far can we push it?
Well, this weekend, Mark, we have got a big music festival. It's called Mallorca Live. It's happening on Friday, June the 12th, Saturday, June the 13th, Sunday, June the 14th. Mallorca Live has been going for quite a few years now. It's become very, very popular. They're expecting around about 70,000 people to come, which, once again, you'd call it off-season, slightly hitting the border of low and high season, but it's mid-June, so it's good. It's good, and it's a mix of obviously people coming from a tourism point of view and residents as well, of course, because there's a great lineup. The main acts on Friday are somebody called Viva Suecia, Danny Fernandez, the Libertines, and the Prodigy.
Okay, great.
They do have like two stages, so you've got you've got like a sub stage and a main stage as well. On the 13th, which is the Saturday, Aitana, who's a big Spanish singer, the Wombats, Cypress Hill, and
Insane in the Membrane, Rich.
Insane in the Membrane, I love it. And the Kaiser Chiefs, of course, are good. And then on Sunday, which is like the closing party, David Guetta is playing along with Medusa and Miss Monique. So it's a bit of a clubby sort of finish to the Sunday.
Sounds great. It's a great lineup, Rich. I mean, I know
not bad.
It's a certain age group as well, Rich. I don't think you're going to get many under 20s there, are you? But I mean, it's definitely playing to the crowd.
A lot of Spanish, because they do obviously on the smaller stage. They do have a lot of Spanish acts on as well, so a lot of Spanish love it as well.
Yeah,
and I think quite a lot of the youngsters, sort of even my sons have said about Guetta, would like to go and see Guetta play. Do you know
he's big, mate. He's big. He's a world. I mentioned it before. I went to see him last year, and I don't often see him, although he does play in Ibiza twice, 2 or 3 times a week. And he was excellent. I've got to tell you, he mixes. He puts all those 80s tracks on and all the 90s tracks, and he really mixes it up, Rich. And he's. Your lads will like him a lot as well. So, and do you know how many people are coming over for it, especially, Rich?
No, it just says there's a crowd. They reckon that over the 3 days there will be 70,000 people going.
Are you going to go?
So, I'm not, Mark. But then again, you see, I live. Well, how far away am I? I'm about 3 or 4 kilometres away from the main stage.
You'll hear it then,
and I can hear it still.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
You can hear it. I know. So you're not really a front row mosh pit kind of guy, though, Rich, are you? Let's face it.
No, listen. I went to AC/DC in Madrid, but we were fairly near the back in the seating area, of course.
Yeah.
Although not that we sat down, to be honest. Let's face it.
That was Angus on that. Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, they were great. They were great. So I wouldn't have actually, to be honest, I wouldn't have minded seeing Kaiser Chiefs actually.
Kaiser Chiefs. Yeah, I've seen them in Ibiza Rocks.
I saw them at Mallorca Rocks. Yeah, I did see them at Mallorca Rocks years ago. So. Well, the World Cup starts as well, but that's the only other problem.
Well, we know where our prize is going to be, don't
exactly.
Don't we? So we talked about the sustainability of the islands, and you talked about the protests as well. I mean, it's that age-old problem, Rich. It's living, isn't it? I mean, we talk about it every week. I mean, ad nauseum, but unfortunately, it presents itself literally daily in the press and daily over here, because with the immigrants problem, the housing, the homeless problem that we've now got as well. But there's been a novel new idea in Ibiza town. Now, I got an email the other day from a lady talking to me about whether you can build units for people to stay in. And I said, I don't think that's possible. And then today I read in the paper that there's a new co-living development being built in Ibiza town, which is 18 studios of 25 square meters each, which, it's 25 square meters, because all you're going to have is a bed and a shower. The thing about these, mates, they're being built out of timber, very much more quick process. They'll have them up in a few months. There's kind of the self-contained studios with kitchens and bathrooms, shared communal areas, and developers say demand is already very strong for completion. And these are specifically for seasonal workers, by the way. They're not to sell. They're specifically for seasonal workers. It's a company that has developed this innovation. Now, the fact that we're actually talking about 18 timber-built studios will just tell you how desperate the situation is, Rich. Yeah, because normally it wouldn't even register anywhere else in the world. At the end of the day, is it innovation? Is it desperation? But it is better than people living in the cars, isn't it, really? So it's a novel new way of approaching the idea. I'm all for it. I think we need to build temporary accommodation for seasonal workers. We're going to have to find a cheap way of doing it through planning, through the urban planning rules. We're going to have to do it, Rich, and the big employers are going to have to stand up and pay for it because and include accommodation in their package. It's the only way. I can't see any other way it happening because the government say they're going to do it, but they're not, mate. They might build 200 houses or 300 houses, but we're talking about an island here with 165,000 people, and you've got Mallorca with 1 million people, so it barely touches the edges. So I think it's a novel way of doing it. I mean, at the end of the day, have we solved the housing crisis, or we just started adapting to it? I don't know.
And listen, I don't mind it. I think it's quite a good idea, and obviously using wood rather than bricks and everything. Does it make it more sustainable? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it does, Richard. And you've got to worry about the weather in the winter because it was seriously bad this winter.
But then they won't be using them in the winter. I take
exactly.
It,
yeah, I believe so. But I'm always concerned that they say it's for seasonal, then they get a big offer all year round, and away they go. So it's just a new way of approaching it, and I think that's the key subject that we need to talk about is new ways of approaching the problem and solving this issue, because if we carry on doing what we've always done, it's not going to happen, is it? Nothing's going to be solved. So I'm all for it.
Bit of Real Mallorca news, Mark.
Go on.
Well, obviously, transfer is the way trying to get rid of the big players, the boys that are on the big wages, and
of course,
because they don't want to play in obviously Segunda Division. So it looks like Mariki's off to Fenerbahce for about 18 million. Okay. Just waiting for the.
That's not a bad price at his age, mate. Is it? That's decent business for Mallorca.
I think we paid about 6 million. He has played in Turkey before, actually. Yeah. When we signed him, he'd done a season in Italy. So yeah, good money. They're just waiting for the presidential elections at Fenerbahce to sort of die down a bit.
Same as Real Madrid, then.
Same as Real Madrid, exactly. So same sort of thing. So it looks like he's off. Also, Pablo Maffeo is going to Olympiacos. Johan Mojica is going to a club in Brazil. It's not confirmed yet, but that's what I've heard on the QT. And they're trying to tie down Pablo Torre. Pablo Torre is a player that we signed for Barcelona. So, but Barcelona retained 50% of his rights. So that means obviously they'll get a sell-on fee exactly. So, and he did have a clause in his contract if they got relegated, then he would be able to move on. I think Dimichelis would like him to stay on with Darder, who we know has signed. And also Morlanes, who said he wants to stay as well, because those three in midfield will make a great midfield, to be perfectly honest. That's the rumours I've heard so far. And as I say, Mallorca will have the biggest budget in Segunda next year. So they need to use that sensibly. And I was speaking to someone about it the other day, and they said what they need to do is buy Segunda players that will help them get out. Because, playing in Segunda and playing in La Liga is totally different. It's
a whole different ballgame.
It's like the Championship, Premiership. Exactly like the Championship, the Premiership. So they need to buy players that will get them, into good position by Christmas. And then by Christmas, if they are in a good position, then they can start looking to invest in some more, maybe, La Liga players that will get them to that, that next situation. If you know that how it works in Segunda is the top two go up and the next four go to a playoff to take the third place. 3 teams come down. So the top two go up, and then the playoff between third, fourth, fifth and sixth, which is how Mallorca got up a few years ago as well. So there's obviously lots of possibilities there, but they need to make sure that they don't languish mid-table, because then it could be difficult for them to get back up again.
Yeah, they've got to give it a good go this time, and they've got to keep that midfield spine, haven't they? Because
and defensive
Muriqi was always going to go, mate. And also you've got to cash in on him anyway. I mean, interested that there's no La Liga clubs coming in for him, Rich. I think that tells you a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, I think we talked about this last week. I think there was a talk that Barcelona might take him as their second striker, but I think if he has the option that. Well, I mean, listen, with Barcelona come calling, are you going to turn it down? But I think if he's first dibs in at Fenerbahce, he's probably going to be on some good money. I imagine that's probably where he's going to go.
Right, last issue, Rich. Do you know what was spotted off the coast of Sicily this week?
Well, obviously you sent me the story, but I won't spoil it for you. You can say.
Well, it's
it your wallet.
No, it wasn't my wallet, mate. That was last seen. That was last seen in 1997, somewhere in the West End. But no. It's every swimmer's nightmare, and anybody about my age, so anyone born like in the early 70s, you grew up with this film, which sends shudders down your spine. So off the coast of Sicily this week was spotted first ever underwater great white. I'm going to let me do that again. First ever.
It's easy for you to say.
Spoiled that, done it again there. Spoiled that, didn't I? First ever underwater footage of a great white shark, Rich.
Wow.
So it was filmed. They've seen some on the surface before, apparently many years ago, but it's the first time you've ever seen it underwater, and some divers got it. Obviously, social media panic ensued. However, the funny thing is, Rich, that the scientists are celebrating. They think this is a fantastic thing that they've seen, because great whites in the Med are endangered species. So, and it's really rare to be filming one, so it's now international news. So the Mediterranean is one of the most heavily used seas in the world, as we know. It's overfishing, and environmental pressures have damaged it over time. So that all the scientists are cock-a-hoop. I'm not sure if I was swimming off the coast of Sicily and I saw a great white, Rich, I would be cock-a-hoop. But, at the end of the day, there are other things in the sea, I suppose, you need to worry about as well. So, I mean, it's a nice headline when they're happy and the swimmers aren't. But just imagine if one was spotted off the coast of Mallorca or Ibiza tomorrow, Rich. Imagine that, God. And yet the marine scientists would be celebrating, saying this is a great day for humanity, and the rest of us would never be swimming for the rest of the season. So, I mean, the story there is that there isn't a shark. The story is there that there's so few of them left that it's become global news. So, shark in the water in the Mediterranean. There you go. Be careful where you're swimming.
Well, just one thing I want to say quickly before we finish today.
Go on.
We about 4:00 in the morning on the radiothon, me and Des Mitchell were having a bit of fun on songs and how old they were and when they came out. I just want to play you one song. I don't know if this will come out on the microphone. I hope it does, just to see if you can guess how old it actually is. You can't hear it.
Put it on speaker.
Can you hear that?
No, tell me the name of the song and I'll tell you what year it was.
Okay, Living Joy and Dreamer.
I reckon that was 82.
82. So how you need to tell me what year was that then?
82.
Yeah, how many years ago was that?
That would be 43 years ago now.
43 years ago. 82. Yeah. No, it's actually 33 years.
No, sorry, 33 years ago. Yeah, 92. Yeah, that'd be right, wouldn't it? Yeah, 92.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you make out your mind.
No, you're right, mate. No, I went 10 too high, but yeah, in Living Joy, 33. I saw some scary stats the other day, Rich, about where we're at the moment, and you don't even want to think about it, Rich, because time is just flying so much. So
well, we went through about 10 songs, and we sort of and they were banging tunes, and you're going, no, seriously, that is 30 odd years ago. Unbelievable, some of it. Yeah,
Rich, we came to Ibiza 36 years ago, Rich. So Mallorca 36 for you and 35 for me. So time really is banging on, Rich.
And so are we. That's unfortunate about it.
Well, no. Well, listen. Luckily, with my little procedures, I'm hanging on to
your procedures. Yeah. Well, I'd have a look. I would have a chat with the doctor if I were you.
I'm asking for my money back. That's for sure. Rich, always a pleasure, mate.
Good to see you, Mark.
And good to see you, buddy. Have a good week.
And you, mate. Take care.
Make me dance.